All right, I'm going to get started. Thank you, everybody, for joining today. I'm having a little bit of technical difficulties, but I think it looks good. And let's get going. So I'm here to share information about boosting distributor performance through technology. And I wanted to kick things off and thank our sponsor. I really do appreciate Blue Moon sponsoring my session. Blue Moon's solution empowers distributors to manage chargebacks more effectively. You have full control and visibility into customer-specific chargebacks while automating key processes like posting cash receipts and generating accounts receivable documents. This solution also helps you research and dispute chargebacks effectively, reducing complexity and minimizing profit loss. It's designed to streamline the entire chargeback process, helping your business save time and money. Plus, it integrates seamlessly with Acumatica, providing an easy user experience. You can get a great sneak peek of the solution at Acumatica Demo Day on September 25th. The link will be in the comments. So what will we be covering today? First of all, I want to say good morning. And again, thank you for joining. My name is Kelly Squizzero, and I am the Senior Product Manager for the Distribution Edition at Acumatica. This is my first acuCONNECT event. I joined Acumatica just about a year ago. It'll be a year in November. And I'm really excited to be here today. Today, I'm going to kick things off with a very brief overview of the industry challenges, kind of setting the stage for what are we going to be talking about, what's going on in the industry, and why are these technologies so important. And then we'll get into some specific areas of your business where technology can be applied to enhance performance. With each area, I'm leaving you some probing questions that I want you to consider and think about, a takeaway, if you will, so that you can make progress in some of these areas. And I'll also kind of provide just a big picture overview of kind of, what are some actionable steps that you can take to drive progress. So in terms of challenges in the industry, distributors are definitely being impacted by continued global conflicts, economic instability, and natural disasters. These are causing significant delays and disruptions in the supply chain. And these disruptions are leading to increased shipping costs, inventory shortages, and longer lead times. Costs associated with labor, inventory, and transportation are on the rise. So this issue around costs is always a challenge for distributors and will continue to be. There's also a labor shortage, and distributors do struggle hiring and retaining talent. There's also a big challenge around inventory management. I'm a strong believer that your people are your greatest asset, but inventory would have to be second. And it's very challenging to ensure that you have supply to meet your customers' demands. And poor inventory management can lead to lost sales, increased holding costs, and reduced customer satisfaction. And last, the industry is dealing with some tough competition, right? The rise of direct-to-consumer models and B2B marketplaces like Amazon and Alibaba has intensified competition. So distributors are now having to really innovate and enhance the value that they're providing in order to stay competitive in the market. So if what distributors are doing as they're facing these challenges is they are leaning into technology to help navigate, this complex industry and ensure success, growth, and profitability. So today, I'm going to kind of look at your business in 3 pillars. There are many more, I recognize that, but with limited time, these were 3 areas that I wanted to talk about. One is about where you can engage technology around your workforce, your customers, and competition. So let's talk about your workforce and the importance of providing your employees with a great experience. As I said earlier, there's no doubt that your employees really are your greatest asset. And technology does impact their level of job satisfaction and employee retention. Now, I've left you some data points here. Maybe that'll help you convince you that it's important, maybe convince your manager that it's important, but having an experience, a great working experience in terms of the technology they're using is really important to your people. Right. We know that businesses that are coming from legacy systems are using outdated user experiences. They're stuck at their desk. They have no mobility access. They lack information or access to information to do their job successfully. And then they're having to do very repetitive, mundane work. Right. And I know that, in my career, when I worked in an environment like that, that led to frustration. And I'm sure every one of us has experienced that at some point in our careers. So it's really important to look at technologies that are available to empower your employees, right? A beautiful user experience that offers intuitive navigation and streamlined workflows can go a long way in making employees happier at work, and happier employees are more productive, right? Access to information, that's critical. Nothing is more frustrating than when you know the information is there, you just can't get to it, or you can't get to it easily. And it's frustrating. I know you're thinking, geez, there's technology that could help me with this. Today's employee does not want to be stuck at their desk. Yes, many of them want to work from home, but even for those that are in the office, they want the ability to be mobile. They want to know that when they're walking the customer service floor, they can still access information from their mobile phone. And absolutely, they're looking for technology to streamline mundane tasks. Wherever you can automate, to take away those tasks that really don't add value in your business. They have to get done, but nobody really wants to be the one to do them. So, as a technology provider, we are focused on making continuous improvements in order to make your employees happier at work, but just as important is to make them more productive at work. A great example of this is a new capability that will be released in our next release around anomaly detection. So we've been talking to our customers about their frustration when it comes to the volumes of data they have. And we've been, as a company, working with AI and machine learning now for years, as we want to represent ourselves as a leader in technology. So this is one of the areas that popped up as we were engaging with our customers. So with the next release, we are providing out-of-the-box anomaly detection over 3 specific areas: sales order margin analysis, PO costs, and AP bills. But the exciting thing about this is that this technology is, 1, very easy to set up, and 2, can be used on any generic inquiry. Right? So it really just comes down to what problem do you want to analyze? Either create a generic inquiry with that data, or use an existing one and identify, what field do we want to monitor? Like, where are we going to be putting our focus? And in this one, we're focused on margins, right? So I'm often asked, what is anomaly detection? All right. Anomaly detection is unlike a simple sorting report, if you will, right? It's, yes, you could run a report to say, show me every transaction and what its margin was from the lowest margin to the highest, but that's not really good. That's not going to help you. That's not going to help you solve the problem, right? Because sometimes a low margin is fine. But what will happen with this tool, using AI and machine learning algorithms, the system can recognize patterns and context that a simple sort cannot do. It identifies anomalies based on historical trends and data, not just on absolute values. So when you go into this inquiry, you can look at it in two ways. You can say, show me everything, which is what we're seeing here. And on the far right, you'll see a column that says anomaly severity. It's either normal, medium, or significant. And it has to do with how many standard deviations from the norm, it is to determine its level of severity. But the system is actually doing calculations using using machine learning to say, what should the margin have been on this line item? And what was it? And in that comparison, it can identify, hey, you need to take a look at this. I can sort this list by type of severity, by product group, by customer group. But once I review the anomaly and I can dive into the customer information, the order information, the inventory information, why is there this anomaly detected? What's going on? And through my research, perhaps I can come to some conclusion. And then with that, I can actually, for every one of these line items, I can mark it as, hey, I reviewed it. Here's what I found. And then tag it as having been reviewed so that you don't have to look at it again, if you will. And yes, you can pull up a report later on to say, show me all these anomalies that I reviewed. And is there any commonality of what's going on here in terms of why we are losing in margins, right? So that's just one of many examples of what you can do with anomaly detection. So before I move on to the next section, I wanted to leave you with some thoughts. And that is, I want you to think about your employees' experience. And are you doing all you can with the technology you have? And yes, the anomaly detection is coming. But are you personalizing dashboards? And are you really using business events and alerts to their fullest extent? These are the things that I really think you should take time to evaluate and make some decisions on. So now let's move on to customer experience, another area that I am extremely passionate about, okay? In this area, right, there is a ton of research out there about what do your customers expect, all right? And they have very high expectations. The consumers say that the experience that they have with a company is just as important as the products and services you provide, right? And you probably know that, but when you see a data point at 80%, it really jumps out. Consumers also expect a consistent experience across all sales channels. And we know that distributors are notorious for selling across various sales channels. You got to make sure it's consistent, right? That is, what the price and availability is on one channel better match what it is on another. Also, business buyers expect customers to respond and interact with them in real time. Boy, that's a challenge today, right? Everybody's cutting back on headcount in terms of answering the phone. We're pushing everything to automation, but there are technologies that can help in this area. So some of the areas that I would love for you all to be thinking about in terms of, how can I leverage AI and machine learning to meet my customers' expectation? One is around product recommendations, right? This is one of the most popular ones that's out there, where businesses are using historical data, patterns, trends to make product recommendations. This is a great way to demonstrate to your customers that where the system is informing either them or you as the customer service person. Hey, here's what this customer really needs. Right? The other thing is this chat bots, right? That's that ability to have that 24/7 support for your customers. The other area is automating order confirmation and tracking of delivery notifications and that kind of thing. I mean, customers expect that today. We all know we get those notifications ourselves. In fact, my inbox is full of them. Another key area where AI and machine learning can come into play is around forecasting demand and optimizing inventory to make sure that your supply can meet your customers' demands. We're also seeing a lot of interest around pricing optimization, where the system is, developing segmentations of customers and looking at those groups of customers to determine where could you squeeze another margin point. So that's a very exciting area that distributors can look into. And then the self-service personalization, whether that's from your company's storefront website or whether it's through a customer portal. Customers want to serve themselves, and those businesses that offer the greatest capabilities in this area really are going to drive traction. So again, I've left a list of things for you to think about. Are you optimizing your online platforms? Are there any barriers there that you need to address? How do you drive your customers there to use it if they're not already? Are you expanding into new sales channels, right? Because you got to meet your customers where they are or where your new customers are. So are you engaging in online marketplaces? Are you moving into direct to consumer? So take a look at these questions and spend some time thinking about it to see what you can do to improve your customers' experience through technology. And the last area is around competition. Now, I want to take a moment here and just ask you for a second, just write something down. What is your competitive advantage? Right? What is that one thing that you feel you do better than anybody else that makes you unique in the market and will drive growth in your company? I've asked this question a million times over my career, and I get different answers every time. And sometimes I get, hey, we answer the phone, or, we've got really great relationships. I really think everyone needs to be looking at what they consider to be their competitive advantage and ask themselves, is that really it? Is that sustainable? Is that going to be a differentiator for us in 3 years and 5 years? Are we really going to be able to answer the phone if we want to grow our business? Like, how are we going to do this? But this is a great exercise for every business to go through in determining what their competitive advantage is. Whatever it is, what I have seen is that distributors are really differentiating through the services that they're providing, right? They're looking for ways to add value, to solve problems for their customers, right? And that's where technology is going to lean in. Yes, you could try to do all these things through paper-based systems and, but that's not sustainable, right? You're not going to be as profitable, and services happens to be one area where it can actually generate some profits. So lean into technologies in these areas. And when I mention inventory management, there I'm talking about, managing your customers' inventory, right? So there's a lot of things that you can do as a business. It's really about knowing your customers and figuring out ways to solve their problems. And there are so many benefits, as I've listed here on the right. Not only are you going to improve your customers' experience and they're going to be more loyal and you're going to increase revenue and profits, but it also is about improving your relationships with your suppliers. Suppliers are going to want to work with you if you're actually adding value in the marketplace. And if you're not adding the value, guess what? They're going to, right? So this is another way to, kind of hold off that disintermediation that's going on in the market. There are a number of cutting-edge technologies that can be used in the area of value-add services, and you have to think about what's right for your business. One example is a customer that is monitoring equipment remotely, right? So they rent equipment and they are, through sensors, IoT, they are monitoring that equipment. They are gathering that data. And through anomaly detection, they're able to determine, hey, do we have a potential problem on the rise here? And do we need to get somebody out there to monitor that equipment before our customer has a problem? Another area, and I mentioned this earlier, is managing customers' inventory. Many distributors are doing this today. They have installed IoT systems at their customer site so that they can manage their customers' inventory balances. They know real time what's going on, and they're automating using Acumatica technology to determine, hey, how do I replenish my customers' inventory at their site? Let's take that burden off of them. Let's make sure that their manufacturing production never shuts down, that they'll always have what they need. Okay. And again, I've left you with some probing questions here. Are you evaluating the services that you're providing? Are they still even relevant to your customers? right? This is something you should be considering on an ongoing basis. Are they differentiating you? Are you meeting their unique needs, right? Go out there, talk to your customers, find out what is it that you could do for them. And are you using some of these emerging technologies? I'm not a proponent of using technology for the sake of the technology, but I do think it's important to educate yourself on these technologies and ask yourself, is there a way that we could be using these technologies to add value, right? Like IoT, AI, machine learning, whatever that technology is. And what internal processes or resources do you have that could be optimized to deliver these services more effectively? Again, if you've already got people out in the field doing repairs or maintenance or scheduling or whatever, hey, what technology are you using to manage that process, right? If you're already managing your customers' inventory, what are you using to do that? And how can we move you forward? And if I'm stirring some ideas here with you that you would be really interested in working with Acumatica on, please feel free to reach out to me. That's how we came about creating the anomaly detection use cases, was because of customer interest. So please don't hesitate to reach out. And last but not least, and then I'm going to look to see if there's any questions. You need to get a plan to take action. All right. You can't be effective if you don't really think through the process. You want to make informed decisions. And one of the things that most customers will say to me is, there's so many things I could be doing. How do I decide? Hey, listen, I have the same problem, right? Where can you have the biggest impact in your business? Do that needs assessment. Research and explore your options. Talk to experts. Talk to your value provider, your consultants, the people that are helped you with your implementations, the ISVs you're working with. Talk to these people, talk to your peers, engage with the community, talk to us, right? Find out as much as you can about how these problems can be solved, and then begin to pick something, move forward, develop a pilot program. Doesn't have to be huge. Start small and grow with it. That's how we, again, worked with our customers on the anomaly detection process. It's take one thing. Let's see if we can prove it, validate it, actually put it out there so that your employees are using it, check the results, get the feedback, right? And then make sure that when you do make a decision to move forward with something, that you've trained everybody on it so they have an effective way to use what you created. And then it's just an iterative process. Okay. So that's what I had to share today. I want to thank you for your time, and I'm going to just jump back over to the platform because I apologize, I cannot see. And we have, I don't know if we have any questions. Let me see. Yes, Amy, you're right. Everyone should know what their competitive advantages are. All right. Are there any questions from the audience at this time? If not, I can call it a conclusion and give you back 5 or 6 minutes of your time. I know that everybody could use a little break before they run to their next session. Thank you all, and have a great rest of the conference.